So I think we are at the part where we can finally do this. Problem solving with the ChatGPT O1. So this is an exercise I started, I want to say last semester? It might be last semester. So I do know I have not done this with the Physics 4C. So when I was teaching Physics 4C last year, spring 22-4, I was working through some of the conceptual questions with the ChatGPT. But with the conceptual questions, I don't know how helpful ChatGPT is in helping you learn. Because like one of the reasons you don't see conceptual questions in this semester's homework assignments is at some point I felt like there were enough proportion of people um, doing it dishonestly, and conceptual questions are not really what I focus on the required 101 meeting anyway. Um, so it's just didn't see the point of the assignment anymore. That's why I was not all that sad to get rid of it. Um, so with the conceptual questions, I don't know how helpful ChatGPT is because I feel like it's the kind of stuff that you should really learn from watching the lectures, reading the textbook. But when you are working through homework problems, that's where I can imagine for someone who's been working through the course in good faith, and maybe you lack some fundamentals and you are struggling. And I can imagine for that person where ChatGPT can be a really effective virtual tutor. Its main effective coming from the fact that it's instantaneous. Now, if you're here in my office hour, Monday and Tuesday evening, and working on the homework set, question comes up, then great, ask me. I can answer you as instantaneously as ChatGPT would, and I'm more competent physicist than ChatGPT. But I only have 4 office hours a week. You might be working at a time and it's not my office hour, and if you send me a message, then it's gonna take some time. Like I do try to answer physics questions quickly, but there will be some delay. And really, the advantage of ChatGPT is that whenever you are working through these materials, question comes up, you ask a ChatGPT, it immediately answers you. And it's really improved over the last year or so. And even a year ago, I probably wouldn't have recommended using it as a virtual tutor because I would be afraid it would be wrong too much and you would actually be even more frustrated. But it's gotten really good. And so that's what I want you to demonstrate. Let me start with the problem set 3. And then if we have time, we might go back to, I don't know, problem set 2. We'll see. Let me first work through a couple problems in problem set 3 and see where it takes us from there. And let me enter the test student view so that I can work through it in a really similar way as you do. And I think those of you who got this far will have noticed that starting in week 3, your module requirements have changed. So instead of getting some set number of points, you have to mark these things as done. This gives you a lot of flexibility. I have a page explaining it, so read it. So let me bring up ChatGPT, my virtual tutor, and we'll get started. Now, I have a first word of precaution, which goes to how these generative AI models were trained and the kind of the responses that most people prefer. So if you do something like this, let's say you get a question and you simply ask ChatGPT as in, maybe you don't even tell it, oh, help me cheat, please. Just paste in the question. Then what it'll do, because this is its bias. This is what really a lot of human beings using ChatGPT prefers. So it has learned that humans prefer straightforward explanation, all the answers beginning to the end. So if you simply give it a question and don't direct it in a particular way, it'll just give you answers. And I can even do this, like copy and paste, or just see and type. Wait. So it might be rounding it too much. So these two have a chance to be graded as incorrect, but let's give it a try. Yeah. Oh wait, the last one. Oh wait, wasn't reading. So this is its bias. So and I will tell you this. I think you actually saw this warning in the top of the homework help videos page where I point out this is how I've seen some people misuse this resource where they just copy the answers from the end. Ultimately, because that doesn't help you learn. And if you are doing with the ChatGPT, the virtual tutor, what I'm doing now, you won't learn anything. And I like it. So, you might not have done what I just did, where I simply looked for the answer and copied it. You might actually have, you were confused about the question. You gave it in good faith, and you actually read it through. You read a concise way to see the answers. Is the usual double sleeve criteria. Okay, I think I remember this. I think I remember this. And then you read through this. Now, unless this was a kind of question you already knew how to do, simply reading this, it won't stick in your brain. Maybe right after you read it, you feel like you understood it. Maybe, even 30 minutes after you come back and you still feel like you understood it, and you can maybe even reproduce it. But try coming back in a week. Try coming back after a while, after you've had some other material to look at, and as you come back, see if you remember any of this, if you didn't already know. And what you will find is that a lot of the things that you read for the first time, after having read it for the first time, it won't stick in your brain. It really, I know working through homework set can be frustrating. Sometimes the questions are difficult, and you need that frustration. You need to go through that experience to both, kind of give you practice. Some of the questions you will be initially frustrated, but you will be able to work it through, and that'll have been a really good exercise for you of physics problem solving. And sometimes even if you don't get through and you get help from ChatGPT, the fact that you started by struggling through the question will help you remember these solution approaches you see from ChatGPT. So, what you should really do, because again, this is ChatGPT's bias. It's what I do like to say. It's an amoral tool, and I mean that in its literal sense. It has no moral compass. It doesn't know what is right, what is wrong, and it's a tool. It does what you want it to do most of the time. So you have to tell it what you want it to do, and you have to tell it basically what you want it to do is something completely different from what it's been trained to do as like most human beings' preference. You need to say, oops, maybe not this part. I meant to lead with this. Uh, I am preparing for a required one-on-one meeting with my instructor in physics for C, third semester physics with a calculus class. And he will be asking me these questions at the meeting. He told us that we can use the textbook or no other resources. I can have you. Um, so I really need to learn how to do these questions myself. Please help me do that. Uh, uh, when I give you the question, please don't give me the answers right away. Uh, help me struggle through the question so that I will learn and remember. So you do need this kind of starting prompt so that for the rest of this session, ChatGPT will know the correct thing to do in this session. It will know my preference. By the way, I'm told that these thinking models, they don't need the boomer prompts, as in overly long. I don't think this is overly long. Maybe it's a little bit overly emotional, but it's fine. Um, yeah, yeah. I don't care about that question. That first question is a burner. Usually question one in a lot of these sets are easy. So let me find a substantive question, one where I can struggle, maybe make plausible mistakes and have ChatGPT correct me. Okay, so all these are kind of easy, I think, because you just apply this formula. Maximum double slit, you use double slit interference maximum formula. Maybe you don't understand it, but we'll give you the right answer. So let me move on. Second order. Mm, maybe. I don't know. I think there's better questions than ask. So, but let's say, as you look at this question, you kind of an idea what to do. So you've already seen and applied the double slit interference formula. So we are looking at second order maximum. So you write down d sine theta is equal to m lambda for a condition for the maxima, and second order you say, oh, second order, that's probably m equals 2, and I think that is right. And with visible light, and you try solving for d, and you solve for because it's looking for the separation d, so you solve for d. D is equal to 2 times lambda divided by sine theta. And let's imagine at this point you are stuck. I need numbers to plug in, but I don't feel like I know wavelength. And where's my theta? The question didn't give me theta. Now, if you read the question carefully, you can get all that. But let's say that's where you're stuck. You've found the formula you should use, you started applying it, and you feel like I don't have enough information. So let me demonstrate how ChatGPT can help you here. Okay, so I'm working on the next question, and I think the question forgot to give me lambda and theta. How do I find the smallest separation d? And I think a wavelength is probably easier because you can kind of look up visible wavelengths, between 400 and 700 nanometer. Great. Now, this condition, that is, there exists a wavelength of visible light which will which will produce a second order maximum. This part might take some geometric thinking. It does come down to this statement gives you information about this theta. Let's see if ChatGPT says that. I'll go wait to see why no specific is the maximum. Yeah, is as large as 90 degrees. So you could say, okay, at what d you would get the second order maximum at theta equals 90 degrees. So you can generate your own number to plug in. That's what it's saying. At that angle, sine of theta is 1. So for a second order maximum, we have, this is the same thing I solved before. And then smallest is that. And why don't we need a specific lambda? I guess my question was specific enough that the fact that it's giving me this isn't too much help. So now let me see if it'll actually tell me what wavelength to use. Do I use the average? Do I use the shortest? Do I use the longest? At least one. So then I think you want to use the shortest wavelength. There it is. Numerically, you want the smallest possible. Now, will that be graded as correct? Let me give it a try. 0.76 micron, maybe. I probably put large enough of a tolerance that, you could use 380 as the boundary of that visible light, or you could, I think, use 400 nanometer too. So if you had used the point 0.8 or micron, then it still should grade as correct. At some point, this tolerance will run out. At some point, you are just being unreasonable. So it won't go on forever, but yeah, there's that. Um, yeah, so part B asks, it's still giving too much help. Uh, uh, okay, I think I got it, but I really wanted to work on part B myself. For future questions, would you please not tell me the answers? I really need to work on them myself. So look at what ChatGPT is doing and just watch out for if it's giving you too much. Because sometimes really all you need is the very next hint, get you over the hump, and then work through the rest on your own power. That's really how you learn. So if you are finding ChatGPT is giving you too much help, hey, tell it to give you less help. And it'll usually do that. Yeah. Yeah. This question good enough. We can move on. Let's find another question. Maybe one or two more questions. I want to leave a little time to go back to the earlier problem sets that I wasn't able to do in the past. So let's see. This is probably too easy. Let's see. We might come back to this. I think I like this as a kind of one that walks through all the steps. But on the flip side, I think the question might be a little too easy. So let me see here. Um, yeah, kind of easy. Hmm. Um, I'm trying to think if this is substantial. Now, this is the kind of question where because it's multiple choice, you could just get it right by trial and error. Let's see. That I think it means that choice was right. Let me just. Sometimes you'll get credit for ones that are. Yeah, that is correct. Sometimes you'll get credit for ones that are left blank as they are supposed to be. Now, if you don't check anything, then you'll get zero credit. Like this would be another way to get. Oh, but yeah, I'm not getting zero credit because I'm getting credit for this that was correctly left unchecked. So, anyways, so multiple choice questions like this, you can do, like technologically, you can do what I'm doing. But let's suppose after having found the correct answer by just a simple trial and error, you wonder, like, okay, any reason why? Like, so let me ask, uh, so I'll say. So I got this question right by trial and error, but I'm worried that I'll have to explain um, why it's correct. What's the difference between top surface and bottom surface? It looks like that's what makes the difference. And ChatGPT really should tell you that it's not about top and bottom. It's how you cross across the boundary from what kind of index of refraction to what kind. You need to be going from lower to higher to get a pi phase shift. So let's see. Oh, wait. Oops. Forgot to paste this in. I don't know. Sometimes, oh yeah, it's guessing, but it's probably guessing correctly. Yeah, I mean, it's a good guesser. It's a good pain matcher. Um, so pattern matcher. Um, so now I've actually pasted it in, so it's not just the guessing. Now let's see. Go wait to see why surface for the half of others do not is to use the rule of thumb. Yeah, this is the rule that from lower to higher means you get the half wavelength or pi phase shift. That's it. The other way, no phase shift. So um, so instance side is lower. So let's see, top surface of glass cover. Yeah, it's going from air to glass. Yep. Bottom surface is going from, is it on water? Oh yeah, water drops. So glass to water, which is still less than glass. Yeah. And the top surface glass slide is now, I think here it's actually wrong. So let me see. For number three, you said light in air n equals 1 reflective glass of the slide. But the light is going through water just before the glass slide, right? I think, yeah, we did cover and then slide is below. Fish. And you know that's another way you can get some interaction. Yeah, because it does come down to if you are simply reading silently, not taking any active part yourself. Again, you will forget. But even in these questions where ChatGPT is giving you answers, mostly if you know read it critically, try to think through, hey, could ChatGPT be wrong, and interact. That'll help you remember. And in this case, yeah, it'll say you are absolutely right, but it'll clarify that it still won't change the answer. Yeah, it's still lower than that of glass, so it won't change the answer. Okay. Yeah, yeah. And just to double check to see if sometimes you know ChatGPT just is agreeable. It just wants to agree with you. So I'll say, okay. And the water below the glass slide. I'm trying to gaslight ChatGPT, and it should say, you know, there's no water below the slide, according to the question wording. I think it's gotten better from just hallucinating and, you know, agreeing to people trying to gaslight it. So, uh, just testing. Can I see the thought of? I can see the thought of chain of thought. But chain of thought, if I highlight the word, so no, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So I will say, you know, ChatGPT is always very polite to you. When you are wrong, it'll be very tactful about correcting you. It won't just say, you are wrong, you are stupid, there's no water below. It won't say that. It'll give you this lengthy explanation. So read it and understand, oh, yeah, air is under the slide. Water is not below the slide. And yeah, 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 yeah. And there is actually no water below the glass slide wording. I just made it up. Cover place over water drop and top and bottom. Yeah, there's glass. Yeah, there's the glass. Oh wait. Yeah, yeah. There's a glass slide below the water drop, not water below the glass slide. I mean, you know, if you misread it, great. Again, ChatGPT is on another one of resources that'll correct you when you make mistakes. But like, there's no water below glass slide. There's glass slide below water. Yeah. All right. Good. Good. That's enough. Let's see now what the other remaining three questions look like. If there's one good one to do, then I'll do it. And oh, I wonder if we have that destructive interference thing. Uh, it's not one of the questions I got, I think. Yeah, I think it's fine. Let's see, that's constructive. Um, Perpendicular to surface. I wonder if I can get a question where it doesn't say perpendicular. Perpendicular. They might all say it just as a matter of a good problem writing practice. Uh, yeah, maybe. Let me ask you this. Uh, so I'll ask it this way. Uh, thank you. For this next question, I'm trying to set up the interference condition, but I'm a little confused because the question didn't tell me at what angle the um, light is incident on the slides. How am I going to figure out the path length difference in the air gap? And I'm hoping ChatGPT will explain that a lot of these kind of questions, the common assumption is a perpendicular incidence. Because in general case, it is right. When if you're looking at an angle, then it'll affect the things. But a lot of the estimates, calculations we do, it's the perpendicular incidence. So that's what we assume. Let's see if ChatGPT explains that common convention. This angle is does it say incident perpendicularly? Oh yeah, it does say that. I misread it. Never mind. So much better reader than I am. Yeah, so it's a normal instance. Yeah. Now the challenge is, yeah, it's still giving me too many steps. Um, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think a part of it could be just a reflection of the types of questions you'll get. At least I don't think it gave me the answer. So let me actually try following its instructions and getting an answer. So, right. So identify the two reflections, one from the underside and the top side. And I do recommend that you draw those. Yeah, air wedge. Yeah, so I should probably start out with the air wedge. So I got this wire and the air wedge. And for the light, path length difference is simply twice the air gap thickness. And I think you have to handle the phase difference. Did I mention phase difference? So this is beam 1. So this being glass, it's going from glass to air. So no pi phase difference here. But after it's refracted through air, and then as it goes to glass, it's bouncing off of this. So now this reflection should have pi phase shift. Let's see. Check the phase shift at each reflection from lower to higher or vice versa. You'll find exactly one of these. Yeah, pick a high. Yeah, that's great. And in fact, I say in the lecture, it kind of doesn't matter which one. As long as you remember, there is a pi phase shift. Like even if you accidentally identified this, you will actually get the correct answer. It's just a matter of, remembering that one of them has pi phase shift, the other one doesn't. Okay, let's see. Going. Write the interference condition because there is a. Oh, yeah, I don't like this. So what I would tell you is, so let me. So ChatGPT will, when it gives you advice, it'll go with what's in its training database. Now it can adjust its approaches to more resemble the ones you have seen. Like, let's say you've watched my lectures and you remember how I handle these interference situations. So you can say on number 3, that looks a little different from how I've seen my instructor approach interference questions. He told us to work out the phase difference delta phi and apply the constructive or destructive conditions. Can you teach me that approach instead? And it'll revise. because it's picking between many different approaches. They all work because at some point it's a matter of personal preference. Me, I don't prefer this because it kind of leads to an explosion of formulas to memorize instead of simply remembering, constructive interference, integral number of 2 pi's of a phase shift. When it's destructive, it's like an odd multiple of pi. So it's 2 pi plus pi. So in terms of different track both path difference and okay, you can do that, and they boil down to tracking the phase difference. Label the two reflections. We've done that. Let's just do this. So we were already labeling it. I guess this first is A, this second is B. Different. Define the phase shifts upon reflection, state the rule. So air between the underside, going from glass to air, no phase, flip. Going from air to glass down here. Yeah, that's what I labeled the pipe. Sorry, falling asleep in my head. Ends up having extra pi phase shift. Okay, compute the path length difference. Illustrate perpendicular, it comes from the x distance. Yeah, it kind of easy geometry. Here I drew it at an angle, but you can kind of ignore it and just basically go the thickness here being t, just the path length difference is twice that, double travel through the thing. And then the total phase difference is, that's the formula, or someone could say total phase difference is equal to 2 pi over lambda times the path length difference plus the phase shift from one of the two surfaces. Now you might wonder, what if this is minus? Pretty sure for this question it doesn't change anything meaningful. So let me change that to plus. I like it better. Apply the interference condition. Yeah, these are the interference conditions based on constructive interference. In fact, this should be m equals 0, plus minus 1, plus minus 2, and so on. And we are substituting this expression for delta phi, and we say that this right hand side 2 pi m. Then let's keep looking. So substitute this in. Substitute this into here. So that's the left-hand side. Right-hand side remains the same. And then it says solve for t. Occurs in only one place. So, and you can hopefully follow the algebra, make sure it makes sense. So t is that. And if it's beginning to look similar to other double angle formulas you've seen, great. That's kind of the same setup. The final form 2t is equal to n plus 1/2 times lambda. Okay. Your constructive condition will exactly if both are. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see, derivative from the. Yeah, so let's say we are working with that formula there. 2t is equal to n plus 1/2 lambda. Let's see. So I copy the formula. Let me try applying it. See what happens. Oh, I actually copied it wrong again because I was falling asleep. Really, if I copied it correctly, there should have been a parenthesis here. But I put lambda way out here. So that'll lead to mistakes. Now, the question is, do I want to indulge it? Let me ask. So sometimes you can get intermediate feedback from ChatGPT. You can show it your work so far, and then ask. Okay, I think I got all that. I wrote down some of the things you said to help me think through and answer the question. Does this look right? And I'm hoping it'll spot the fact that this expression has parentheses placed in wrong place. I keep forgetting to paste. Let me see. Stop. That looks good. Sorry, it's hallucinating alongside with me. Let's edit this. Does it look right? Paste the image. Hey, can I not paste the image? Hold on. Let me paste it in. Next, tell me if it looks right. And it'll probably acknowledge, and I already pasted, but let me just do it again. And here you go. Let's see. Uh, Creates exactly like. Yeah, but yeah, it didn't quite catch that there was a mistake. So it won't catch that fully until you get an answer that's wrong. So sometimes it says it, sometimes it doesn't. I guess when I'm reviewing student work, sometimes I see the mistake, sometimes I don't. Let's just leave it there for now. So let's say you have this expression, but you are not done. You have to get the number of bright fringes. So let's imagine you are thinking through and you get stuck somewhere. Let's see, you said, yeah, you will vary t from 0 at the point to any, the range. So I'll ask, what do you mean by counting how many integer m fit the range? More than one does? I do think that is right. So you said T is equal to 34.6 micron, and after having done that, you can basically let M go from 0 to whatever. T change from 0 up to the wire's diameter, get a whole series of positions here. Satisfy different one bright fringe as some thickness T. Yeah. The largest integer m for which that tells you how many bright fringes there are, counting from m equals 0 or wherever the first bright fringe appears all the way up. Yeah, so let's imagine we are following that advice. So I'm gonna get some space down here, and so I guess I can imagine just solving for m. If I'm solving for m should be, so I move the lambda over, divided through by lambda. And then I move 1/2 over. So it would be 2t over lambda minus 1/2. Yeah, is that right? I think that's right. So let's plug in lambda. Now it's possible that this particular approach has off by 1 error. Let's see if we get it. So I'll say 2 times 34.6 microns, and I'll keep track of the fact that we are doing the length as in microns. So when I divide by the wavelength lambda, I don't divide by 590, I divide by the micron version of 590, which is 0.59 micron. Okay, that's the first term, and then you do minus 1/2, and you get 116.8. I feel like if I do 116, 117, that will be graded as correct. So let's try 117. Yeah. And let me just give it 116 a try. It ought not be graded as correct. It might still, yeah, okay. All right, so let's ask this. Let's see if ChatGPT can explain it. So I solved for M and plugged in the number for T. And I got a wrong answer. Can you tell me why 116 isn't correct? Let's see. It might caution you to kind of start with a 0, I think, because especially when so in the ChatGPT's version here, it has a plus sign there, so really this is plus here. So those bright fringes, let's see. Yeah, so if your algebra tells you maximum number integer m is 116, typically see counting from m was equal to 0. So counting from, yeah, here this 1/2 is throwing things a little bit off, but counting from when t was equal to 0, that's where you wouldn't have gotten, but you can get minus minus 1/2. So there's a there's a rounding thing, I think. So let me read through what ChatGPT wrote. Here's the usual check. Find the highest integer m satisfying this, right? Suppose for the integer m, but since the very first semi equals 0, you get a total of, yeah, that would be one argument to the, yeah. This is that. Oh. So let me give this one last bit feedback to see how it maybe corrects itself. Oh, I thought it was because I rounded it down. See text. So I rounded up. Doesn't say correct. See second attached. So the first attached is this. And I don't think a round nearest works. You should always be rounding it down. I'm pretty sure. Because it's about the number of bright fringes. So unless you have an integer value, you don't have to get to the fringes. Let me see what it says. All right. Good way to see what's happening is distinguish carefully between the largest integer n, and yeah, the part important part is integer. The total number of bright spaces is yeah. So yeah, it's the largest integer is 116. Yeah, I think this is good enough of an explanation. A lot of these questions, off by one, is a really easy mistake to make, both in the homework context and in like research lab capacity, and having someone to bounce your ideas off of, did I misread something that I think is good. Sorry, I'm a little tired than usual, so let me end the session here. So I'll edit this video and upload it. The problem set 2 and the other ones, either I'll get to it in some future or, I don't have to do them because really the thing is this is a demo and I want you to give it a try. If we are feeling like as you work through the homework, it's difficult to get through, you could use some help, then great. ChatGPT can be great help, great tutor, great virtual tutor. The only thing it can't do is it can't draw drawings for you, but you've seen up here how it's described in words what it might have drawn elsewhere. So I think that limitation is it can overcome. So, all right, thank you so much for joining this virtual class session. Let me say goodbye to people joining by recorded video, and I will see you all next week, Wednesday.